Welcome, everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 10th. This is day 2 of week 10 of Hotel Evening and Weekend Platoon. Today, we're going to continue with SQL schemas. Was it yesterday? You guys did, oh, I messed that up. You guys did restaurant. Today, we're going to do something pretty similar. We're going to do blog. So before we jump into it, what's the main thing you're learning this week? How to design what?
A schema
Yeah, for your what? I'm not trying to trick you. It's really easy.
or
Database?
Yeah, for your database. All right. So we're going to continue on with blog today. So today's lesson will use blog DB. So you can I'm going to walk through this. Feel free to follow along. Right. So I open blog DB here and it says C cars database for reference. And it's referencing cars database, which we have in the past. And it says dummy data was generated here, but you can use any of the AI tools to generate any dummy data. And you can simply just copy paste. You can even tell them what format you want it in. If you want a CSV, if you want it in CSV is the only JSON or whatever. No other format was coming to mind. I don't know why. All right, so it says, hey, use this blog schema. And he says, hey, once you run this, inside of this folder, it said it should populate everything and it should take you to your Postgres REPL. And you should be ready to query. We're going to find out if that's true. And I know that the last commit here was Jordan West. So if it's not true, he screwed something up. Yes? All right, so here we go. I'm on my Tuesday folder. I'm just gonna, this works. There you go. I'm gonna get clone and I'm gonna just clone that in here. Right, then I'm gonna check, get in there. Yep, it's in there. All right, I'm gonna open it with VS Code. And you can feel free to follow along. Or you can do this later. Yeah, I just wanna open this. And open our terminal here. I'm gonna look in here. And so I cloned it and it says, hey, if I run this, I'm going to literally just copy it. If I run this, it should take me to your Postgres REPL and get ready. All right, so I know that I'm not in the right directory. I'm going to cd into blog. And I know here, if I run that command, set up the sh, what's going to happen?
it depends on what's in setup at the script for a setup
I haven't
sh.
even looked at it, honestly, but I can tell what it's going to do. Just tell me what it's going to do. It's very similar to something that I showed you last week,
Yeah,
or
well,
identical, probably.
hopefully it's going to run a script that builds the container, runs it, and yeah,
I think you reminded me. I actually don't have.
and go into the it should run it and actually go into the environment itself, with you able to run the SQL commands from
All
there.
right, we're gonna see. That's what we expect to see here, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Jordan, I think Jordan did this wrote this lesson and he called it setup sh. What did I call it last week? What did I call it last week?
Bootstrap?
Yep, bootstrap. It's exactly the same thing. You can call it, I could have called it donkey. It wouldn't have mattered if it does the same thing. Obviously, it matters because there's other developers working for you. But if it's your own repo and you know what they are, you know what they are. Yeah. All right. So setup sh. Let's hope this works. It
Yeah,
says
I'm getting
unable to find image blog DB latest locally. What's the issue?
that is the same exact thing I'm getting
Okay.
when I tried to run my other uh, container.
All right. So what do we do here?
Well, saying the container doesn't exist, so you can do Docker PSA
Docker
dash,
PS?
yeah, Docker PS.
Let's just check Docker PS, see
Yeah,
what's up. All right.
yeah,
Nothing's running.
right.
So what happened? What happened? I'm going to run it again.
Like it's running and stopping it, maybe like we saw
Yeah, it
last
says
time.
error. Yeah, error response statement, pull access denied from log DB. Does repository does not exist or may not require Docker login. Might require a Docker login, but I have my Docker open. What's going on here? I'm looking. Yeah, my Docker's ready to go. I got it right here, right? Junk. Help me fix it. This is your problem now, right? I literally didn't look at this. I literally opened it about a minute before I got on Zoom. So what's the issue here?
Let's see. Uh,
This
in the
this happened to you.
in
I
the
know you're
setup
running this. It's not
script
working. What's up?
in the setup script,
Okay. What do you want to do?
look at it, and
There we go.
then
All right.
it looks like it's missing the command to build the image.
Hero. Okay. How do I check if I do have an image to build?
Docker images, or yeah.
This looks right. So
hmm
what's wrong? What's wrong then?
Doesn't it need a Docker built?
Yeah, I need some kind of Docker build command, right? All right.
hmm
So I can go to Par's database here, and I don't remember anything. Oh, that link is broken. All right. So now I'm up a creek here. Where do I want to go? What was it, week 9? I'm assuming I don't know
yeah.
anything, and the only thing I have to lean on is this. What's my build command? Does anyone know it? Do I have to find it?
Docker build um dash T and then DB name, like put in the what is it? PGDB underscore DB.
PGDB
Yep. Dot.
dot. What is the dot in, Nicole?
Means look for the Docker file within the directory I'm in.
There you go. Okay, I could have also gone Docker build and know, hey, check this out. I have autocomplete. I could have just pulled it up from my history too, right? All right, so that's IDB. That looks right. Okay, so let's read this. It says, hey, build this image, run it, give it the name PGDB, password, blogdb. Okay, sleep for 3 seconds, and then exec into it. That looks right. We're good? I'm going to save it. I'm going to run it again. So we get lucky this time. I set up SH. Close. Says error response statement pull denied from blogdb. Does not
Oh,
exist. May require Dogger login still. We
um,
got further though.
yeah. It's instead of PGDB, it's supposed to be what's on the init, which is blogdb, or it's saying it's supposed to be blogdb, but the init says blog.
Block. All right.
Mhm.
So let's look at this. So it's not. So what am I building then?
Yeah, can't you name that anything you want,
I can
Nicole?
name it whatever I want. Help me
Yeah.
fix it.
I mean, yeah, you could put blog d underscore DB if you
It
wanted
says
to.
create database blog and then connect the blog based on the init. Okay. Database blog. All right. What do you want me to do then?
Yeah, I mean, you already have. Oh, well, shouldn't shouldn't so you on line 3 it's blog DB, so you need to change line 2 to say blog underscore DB as well.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right, so
And
this reads, hey, build this image, give it this name. Line 3 reads, create this container called PG underscore DB. Hey, use the image blog DB at the end.
yeah,
That's how you're reading it?
yeah.
Let's see.
There it is. Why did it work for you?
Really difficult to debug something when you can't read code. Cisco knew how to read it, so you fix it. Now there's errors all over these repos, and I'm going to ask Jordan if he does it on purpose. But it's actually a really good exercise to get into, right? Because I promise you, I have never been at work, downloaded a repo, booted it up, and it loads the first time. It has never happened. It will probably never happen in my entire life, as long as I'm in this career. That just doesn't happen. It should, but it never does. Make sense? All right, so now I'm in here and I can start querying. I know that I'm in this shell, so I know it's exclamation mark that clear. All right, give me to the top. I'm gonna make this a little bigger. Ah, and I can actually go into script. No, I can go into init and I can look at the data. Oh, actually, I could just look at the, we have blog users, we have a post, we have comments. So that's what we have. We have name, email, comments. All right. Give me the blog user that has the most posts. How could we get this? I want the blog user that has the most posts.
So you want to do select?
Select
Uh,
what?
select. Um, let's see.
What am I looking for?
You're looking for.
What did I ask just now? And I give you an easy one
So
too.
yeah. So you want to select name.
Name's not a table.
Well, yeah. So select is the name is the
Property. Yeah.
property that you want to get from the blog user.
There you go. So I'm going into blog user. I'm going to grab the name, right?
Mhm.
Then I'm going to do
From blog user. Oh well, I guess you can do it that way as well.
from
You can do post if you want, since you're looking for the post.
blog user, select blog user name from what?
Mhm. From post.
From post. That's getting
Mm,
pretty close, but you need to build complex. You need to build the answer here. That's you're getting closer, but I asked for what specifically? The blog user with the most what?
post.
The most posts. So I know I'm somewhere in there. There's going to be what kind of function?
It'll be a join function.
Yeah, there's going to be a join. Yeah, but it's going to be an aggregate function, right?
Oh yeah.
Like a count or a sum. Which is it? It's count,
Count.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I know in here somewhere, and I don't know where, but I know in here somewhere there's going to be a count. What am I going to count actually?
You're gonna count the title. I think the amount of
I could just count the post IDs, right? How many post IDs
yeah,
does that
even post,
specific,
yeah. Hmm.
right? So I'm going to count something like, I know this isn't right yet, but I'm building up to it, right? So I'm going to count some kind of post ID,
Hmm.
right? Post ID, something like that, right? Because ultimately you're going to give me this name. All right, so this is getting pretty close. All right. All right, so select blog user dot name count post ID from. I can even do select blog user dot name count post ID, right? Post ID, and I can give it a name as what? Number of posts, right? As number of posts, right? So blog user need give me count of post ID, right? I'm going to name it number of posts because this is how many posts they have. From where? From, and it's not post, it's where?
Number of posts from. ID is number of posts from post.
What are we thinking here?
Thinking the answer is blog user, but I don't know why.
What do you mean blog user?
Originally, I thought we had to get it from post, but you said that wasn't it. And then getting something from comment wouldn't make any sense. So
Where are
it has
you
to be blog
getting
user.
blog user name from? You're getting it from blog user, right? You need to get the count from posts, right?
Oh,
Hmm.
What are you going to need here?
User number.
I think the first part is right, right? Select blog user dot name, right?
Hmm.
Select blog user dot name count post ID, right? As number of posts from blog user, from blog user, right? And then we join what?
join post.
Yeah, blog user join post, right? Join post on what? On blog user, blog user. You join it on blog user what? ID, right? Blog user ID, right? Does this give us anything valid here? Select blog user name, count post ID as number of posts from blog user, join post on blog user.id. What does this give us?
Isn't it gonna just error?
Ooh, why did it error?
Because you need a group by.
Syntax error at near count. Let's screw that up. Post ID is wrong. I didn't even use double quotes. Why is it saying that? Syntax error or near post ID. Post has an ID. Yeah, post ID is valid. I don't see the error. Does anyone see it? Count's not wrong. The capitalization here doesn't. Oh, does it matter? I didn't think it did. I don't think it does.
No,
Keep going.
count's not wrong.
Count is not wrong, or it is wrong.
It's not wrong. That shouldn't be wrong because they all should be. I mean, you could do lowercase or yeah. That the casing doesn't matter.
On the join post on blog user ID, doesn't it have to equal post ID or equal user ID? That's what it was.
I think you're right. So blog user ID equals what?
Blog user ID equals post dot user underscore ID.
Post dot is it user ID?
Yeah, it's
user underscore ID colon.
Okay, never mind.
It's still giving us the. I'm not saying that yours is wrong. That's actually closer to the answer, but this error, we're gonna have to figure this out. This is pretty close, right?
Cameron, can we try messing around with the case a little bit? Like you have like the first.
Oh no, I did it on purpose to just show you the case doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
That's not an issue, but I'm going to drop this in the chat. This isn't a SQL lesson, but I will give you a hint. Oh, if I could even find my Slack. Give me 1 second. Questions. Here we go. That's pretty close, right? You're only missing a. You're missing a what? Does anybody know? Someone said it earlier.
There's another. Don't you need another aggregate function within that aggregate function to get the total amount of posts that user is actually.
No, the count does it, right? The count does it, but here you're missing a group by, and then what I would do, I would just do like descending would make the most sense. Descending because the most would be at the top, right? So you can get a table and just look at it, or you could just limit it to 1, right?
Okay.
So I would do it that way. You could do it in your own spare time, but let's just do one really simple one to make sure that we are getting this data. I don't know why I give you a hard one. I didn't think it was going to be that hard. It seemed easy at first glance. Select star from just blog user. There you go. Right. You can keep pressing enter, going all the way down. So that works. It populated everything. Good. All right. So everyone should have BlogDB already all loaded up. Now, if I wanted to get out of here, it would be what? Just Q, I believe. No, backslash Q. Yep. There you go. All right. So we're here. We're going to be executing queries against. Wait, that's not right. Sorry, I messed that up. We're here. Boom. So today's lesson, we'll use BlogDB. We just loaded up all the data. It works. So today we're going to walk through designing and implementing the database schema for a blog entities. We're going to keep things as simple as possible and limit ourselves to 3 entities: a blog user, a post, and a comment, right? As you saw from that SQL search, right? What I thought was easy, that's why I gave it to you, right? Ended up being a little bit more involved than I had anticipated. Even with only 3 entities, the SQL queries get kind of like convoluted and kind of complicated. Does that make sense? And 3 little entities is actually really, really small. Like it's hard to kind of say how big some of these tables are, but if it's like a public facing application, it's very, very easily could have hundreds of tables. Make sense? Alrighty. So there we go. Just 3 entities for this one. We're going to be creating a blog. So relationships, we already talked about the relationships, but let's think of a blog specifically. A post would be made by a single blog user, and a blog user can make many posts. one to many. A comment should be made by a single blog user, and a blog user can make many comments. Again, one to many. A comment can belong to a single post, and a post can have many comments. One to many again. A comment can belong to a single. Wait, what does this mean? I think the last one's wrong. A comment can belong to a single post, but there can be many comments to a post. I think that's what I meant to say. This is a typo, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so here we go. This is a little like a schema. The last one bit is tricky since the definition is recursive. So let's look at this. A post. Who can make a post?
Blog user.
Yeah, blog user, right? Blog user can make a post, and a post can have many comments, right? Can the commentators have posts of their own? Of course they can, because essentially they're what users?
Blog users.
Yeah. And that's the somewhat confusing nature of schema design, right? So very good. So obviously, if they're on the platform, they are a user and they can have posts and they can have comments, right? And if you look at like I'm not on Facebook, but the modern iteration last like 10 years ago when I left Facebook, right? It's not just comments, right? You can heart emoji, you can thumbs up emoji, right? So it's more than that. And it even keeps running counts of what?
A post.
Of likes,
Oh,
right? So when you get into posts and comments, posts can have likes and comments can have likes too, right? So that's another relationship, right? Every post can have likes, but comments within posts can also have likes. And you can have a post that has likes and comments that don't. And you can have posts that have no likes and comments that do. Right? Keep that in mind. All those are relationships. All those are possible. Here's one way to implement this in SQL, and this is what your init file would look like. Create table blog user primary key ID, bar chart for the name, email 255, not null, which means, what does not null mean here?
that it's required for.
Yeah, can't be empty, right? All right, so here we go. Create a table post, primary serial key, user ID, references blog user ID, right? What is this telling you in layman's terms? Don't read the code to me. What is this telling me just in like English? It means that post has a what? Every post has to have a what?
Or a user ID.
Yeah, someone created the post. It didn't get created out of thin air, right? So someone created it. It has to have this, right? Then it can have a title. We're going to make it not null. And then it can have text. But this is not null. So the text could be nothing. It could be an empty string the way that this is written. This should probably also be not null, but that's neither here nor there. All right, so create table comment, primary key, text is text, and then it has a user ID and a post ID, right? Because it has to have the user that created it and the post ID. Why is the post ID important really here? In the comment table, why is the post ID really important?
So you can you make sure you attach the comment to the correct post that you're
Exactly.
commenting on.
Right? They're not just floating in thin air, right? So every single comment has to be assigned a post ID because it's a reference to something that was posted. Very similar to when you did Craigslist, how those ads had to have a category, right? And all of them, if you go to the real Craigslist, all of them have a category. And if they don't have a category, they go under like miscellaneous, I believe, which in itself is also a category. Make sense? All right, so parent comment ID, integer reference to comment, right? And then check optional. Post ID is not null, parent comment ID is null, or post ID is null and parent comment ID is not null. What is this check right here? This is just what?
So that's checking if the post ID.
Oh, just a layman's terms. You don't have to actually
Yeah,
read what it says.
it's basically checking if the post ID has a post ID and the parent comment ID has value.
Yeah, this is just like a little if else check, right? It's a validation on data that's about to get set in your database, right? So that's what that is. Be careful with these initially because I think people, when they try to build it, they can't figure out why the image is not building, and typically some of their checks are wrong. The syntax is wrong. Happens pretty frequently. Queries. What is the name of the user with the most posts? And this is we can boot it up, right? And since I already have this star, do you think this runs? If I run this, is this going to run?
Yes.
All right. They're saying that this is what is the name of the user with the most posts? So this is a query that they gave me. So this should work. Yeah, Jimbo, 7. There you go. Guys, I had to look at this, but this is the one that I gave you. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
They have the name of the user with the most posts. I swear I hadn't looked at this earlier. So there you go. There's your answer. Oh, we got pretty close, dude. We got to like right here. There you go. You just need a group by another limit. There you go. What are the top 3 comments with the most? This is a typo here. What should this say?
What are the top 3 users or what are the top 3 posts with the most comments, maybe?
That makes more sense to me, but this could also be exactly what it's saying. Can you comment on someone's comment?
Yeah.
That makes it confusing as hell. Yes, you can. All right, so this is how you would find which comment has the most comments, right? You know who does a good job of this? Reddit with threads, right? They did a really good job with that in upvoting. So there you go. Comment with the most comments, comment ID, and then the count, right? Of how many responses to that specific thread. And if you follow Reddit, it'll be threads. If someone comments under a comment, it's an indentation, right? And it's a continuation of only that conversation. And then you can kind of click on it and like open the comments or close them. They actually do a really good job with that. So if you're curious about that, check out Reddit if you don't normally use it. But yeah, this is exactly what we got. Advanced queries. These are only shown to terrify or inspire you. When you're on the job, you're not going to have to remember all these really long, complicated queries. And frankly, the only place I ever used a little bit of SQL at DRW, they had an awesome GUI that would do them for you. So as long as you knew what you were looking for, you'd be able to parse it together. So this is who wrote the comment with the most comments, and it's selecting a blog user name from blog user, and then it's making this giant join here, right? And it's labeling it as max comment, blog user ID equals max comment user ID, right? And Ledora apparently wrote the comment with the most comments. There you go, Ledora. All right, your challenge is going to be, oh, Instagram, cool. Instagram. Figure out what entities you'll need, what relationships they should have, some possible entities, user, post, comment, like, follow. Visualize the schema using this little diagram or something similar. I would just stick with that unless you have a affinity for something else that you're already comfortable with. Implement the schema following the model of the CARS database. Go back, look at it. Feel free to copy, paste, edit code. 2 of 3 rows of dummy data per table is fine. If you don't want to make up the data yourself, you could try this. I don't know what this is. Let's look. Or you can just ask ChatGPT. Oh, this will give you a bunch of data. Oh, this is cool. I have seen this before. Give you a bunch of data. You just copy and paste it. When you have your Postgres container running with your database, write a few queries against it to make sure that everything is working. Let's start this together. Yes? All right, let's go. I'm actually just going to go here. So I am in BlogDB. I'm just going to come out a little bit. I'm going to go back to Tuesday, and I'm going to do, feel free to follow along. Click clone, and I'm just literally going to clone that. Instagram schema. All right, so now that's my homework assignment right here. I'm going to cd into Insta, clear. Let's go. All righty. So I am in Instagram. Bring this small down. Don't need that. All righty. I have a Docker file. It's empty. I have a init. It's empty. I have a read that tells me exactly what I just read. I have a setup. sh. Cool. Where do you want to start? This is your assignment. Where do you want to start? Everything's empty except for the readme.
Yep.
I would start with just setting up the Docker file and
Okay.
set up shell script
Okay. So Docker file first. Cool. I don't have anything. Where do I get it? Because I don't remember it.
from the last the blog.
BlogDB? Can I pull that? Ah, this looks perfect. This looks perfect. Yes. Done. Now what? Now what? I have an init, so that will work. Now what do I want to do? What's the next step?
What's in the Docker file?
That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Did I screw that up? I pasted it in the wrong one. I pasted it in setup. No, that goes here. Done. There you go. Docker file. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is good. My Docker file is set up. Now what do I want to do?
Now, you can start with the SQL, the init SQL.
Init SQL. I'm going to start doing this.
Oh, wait. Yeah. So you can start
I
filling.
don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Why don't I want to do that? I could, but I don't want to because it's going to be slower. What do I really want to do next?
Maybe verify your setup is correct. Your setup file.
Yeah, that's really what you probably should do. Right, fix your setup file so it just loads automatically, right? That way you can just rebuild your init file whenever you want. And it'll be quick. Do we have a version that works?
Yes.
Where can we grab it from?
You can grab from that blog one if you want.
Okay, here.
Yeah.
This.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's try that. I don't need this. I'm going to build Instagram DB.
Yeah.
This is going to be Instagram DB.
Yeah.
DB.
And you can just call the other one.
What do you mean I
Instagram,
can call the other one?
the one on line 5 that says blog at the end. You can just call that Instagram or whatever you want to call it.
Call it Instagram.
Yeah.
And this is the name of my runner, right? Is that what this
Right.
is?
Yeah.
I can just call it runner.
Mhm.
Does that work? How do I check if that works?
You just do just run execute the script.
Set up SH?
Mm-hmm.
If I did this right, what's supposed to happen?
It's supposed to create the container, run the image, and put you in the PSQL environment.
For what database?
Well, you're not gonna have one.
I am going to have one. I'm not going to have
It's
tables, but I am going to have a
yeah,
database.
it'll be the Instagram database.
Let's see if that works.
No such container runner. Oh, yeah, I see.
Is this bad?
Yeah, that should fix it.
All right, let's try that again. Right. Look at line 3. I need to create runner, right? And then I'm execing into the container called runner on line 5. That was a mistake. That was the error. I'm going to run this again. Hopefully it works. Am I in Instagram DB? No. It says localhost connection at server localhost failed. This is an interesting error. This is good for you guys to understand. What's happening here?
Could it be that you already have that port open?
Mm.
It's already being used, but that was
Yeah.
pretty close there, Cisco. How do I check?
Well, you can do the Docker PS. Yeah, so you have to close that. Well, you got 2 of them going actually, but you have to close that blog
I
DB.
can stop one, right? Docker stop. Can I
And
stop this? Does that work?
yeah.
Okay. Let's do Docker PS again. I can do Docker stop again, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can just do Docker stop, and I can just stop this one and then run it again, right?
Yeah.
Let's see if that works. Okay, now I'm going to do Docker PS, check what's there. Okay, nothing's running. Now, if I execute that script again, let's see if we don't have any errors here. Oh,
Mm.
what's happening here? I'm just doing what you guys have told me to do, right? Like, get me up and running here.
It
Gotta nuke it.
so, oh, go ahead. I was gonna
Do you
say
need the create database in ScramDB and connect commands in your init for
Is
this?
that what it is? Let's look. Let's look at here. I definitely don't have these two. What's my database called?
Instagram Instagram, yeah.
And I'm going to connect to Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work? Let's see.
Yeah.
Getting closer.
Instagram does not exist.
What's my problem here?
Uh,
The runner name is already in use.
Okay. So I could destroy everything, or I could just call this Insta, right?
mm-hmm.
I'll have you purge your things. I don't even remember the commands. But if I call this, and I call it something completely different, would that work? That'd get me started here. Trying to get started, right?
There we go.
That works, right? You can't have multiple containers on your own machine called the same thing because when you try to exec that have 3 runners, how does it know which runner to exec into, right? You call them all runner. All right, so here I can do select star from users. I get an error. Why?
Because there's no table.
How do I
named
check?
Users. You can do backslash DT
Okay, that tells me I have no
tables.
tables. It'd be dope if I just create one right away just to make sure that everything's going good. I can steal one from where? Steal one from where? Just blog, right? And it has this one, right? Nothing stopped me from doing this, does it? Right? Yes. I can come out and do I run a setup again? Is this going to work? Let's give it a shot. And now I'm going to have one table called user, right? Let's try it. Now, if I select, no, if I do backslash DT, I should see one table called what?
User.
That didn't work.
Oh, well, yeah, well,
What's the issue? Look at my terminal. What's the problem here?
oh, it's you getting the same thing again. You got the runner with the same name. So
Yeah, how do I fix that? I don't want to keep changing it. That's really annoying. I'm trying to be faster. What's the command? Do you remember?
command to uh yeah, you can can you do the Docker stop with that as well?
Yeah, I do, but it'd be dope if I just automated it, since I'm going to be doing this a bunch of times.
Oh, that yeah. I don't remember it.
No worries. Anyone else? I'm trying to find it here. Go into your setup, right? And the first command we should run is this. Let's remove runner,
Yeah.
but instead of runner, let's call it insta. So we're going to force remove anything that's running. So we don't have to keep doing that. Let's run it again now. Hopefully we don't get that error.
Git clone.
Didn't work. So there's no containers called insta. What do I do?
Try let's see. Try
It's called runner,
Docker.
right? Look at my runner name. I'm trying to
Oh,
remove
yeah.
inset and it's not there.
Yeah.
But if I rename everything to runner, right, it's going to remove it on first line. I'm going to free up that name on every consecutive execution. See if this works. Ah, nope. Docker PS. No, it's gone. It's no container runner. What's the issue here? I really do need this to work, right? If not, it's going to make my,
So mm, build. Do you need the do you need a Docker RMI dash F below that remove?
yeah, to match my other one. Why
Right.
not? Is that going to make it better? It's not Craigslist DB, but it's Instagram DB, right?
Instagram DB. Yep.
Instagram DB green. Instagram DB. Okay.
And try that and see what happens.
Try this. There is no runner. What if I comment that it's out and then there's is going to be a runner this time when I run it? This is going to work. And then after there's already a runner running, then I can comment it out. And every consecutive one after that, there'll always be a runner.
So then, um, hmm.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't understand the logic behind it, but on line 5, we had a little success when we took out that dash dash RM.
This one right here.
Yes.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Comment these two out. This will work. Well, there's no runner here, so this probably leave it in there. Let's see.
Okay. Error response daemon container is not running.
Dr. PS, it's not running, right? I'm going to copy this. I'm going to drop it in the questions. I would figure this out first. If you do this everything manually, it's going to be a pain. I would figure this out next, and you have just and this init. Sorry about that. This specific init has only you can literally copy it from blog user. Just grab one and make sure it's populating that table. Then grab a second table, make sure it's populating. You can go in there and edit the names and the primary keys, and then you can get started just with two. Make sense? So I would do it in that order. I would do Docker file, which is just a copy paste. Then I would fix your setup, right? Just the way that we had it. And actually, my old code is in that question Slack channel, right? Go in there, read every single line. Why is it not working? Set that up. And then it'll be as simple as exiting and running that script again, right? Clear out all the images, all the containers, redo everything, and it'll be super quick, just like we did it last time, right? But you're going to do it with Instagram. Questions?
Yeah, I had a question about foreign keys going back to the actual curriculum for today. My confusion is that sometimes I hear that we need foreign keys, sometimes I don't. Maybe it's just the type of thing where it exists, but it's just not being called a foreign key. But in the actual diagram, um, are there foreign keys that exist in there?
In this diagram, there should be. It should just be a couple primary keys.
Okay, okay. Foreign keys, I understood, are what you use to connect the different tables. So you weren't connecting on the primary, but you were connecting from the primary to a foreign and to
No,
connect it.
so typically, so here you're only going to have primary keys. It's just pretty simple, right? And you just use it to point from one property of a table to another.
Okay, all right,
It's
thank
kind
you.
of how you connect the tables in its most simplest form. And don't try to think more than that. That's enough for right now. If you understand that, an Instagram post, right, in its properties, is going to have some version of a user ID in there, right? Because someone created it and you know that that's going to be a reference to something. For right now, that's going to be good enough. Now, if you can write it out, that's even better. But any more than that for right now, you don't necessarily need to go too deep in the well, right? Eventually, you get into slightly more complicated things, not only foreign keys, but then you have primary and secondary keys. Some of them are for searching and organizing data, and that becomes a little more complicated as well. So don't worry about it for right now. Just worry about the primary keys in these three tables.
Got it. Thank you.
Oh, and your actual personal project and your group projects won't be that complicated. Like you should be able to do it just with what you know pretty much by the end of the week. All right, dudes. Take 15, 20 minutes, take a break, come back. I'm going to open the rooms, and then you can kind of get started. Once someone figures out the shell script, please post it in the question channel so everyone can get it. I don't want you guys spending too much time on the shell script. I mean, it is important, but I'd rather you practice on the schemas, right? So when someone finishes it, please post it and everyone could just take it from there and you can study it later. Make sense?
Yeah.
All righty. See you in a bit, guys.
Thing.
Alrighty, I just wanted to bring you guys back together and just go over a couple things. Can someone tell me what the difference between a primary key and a foreign key is?
You can
In
only
the
have one,
simplest terms.
you can only have one primary key. You can have multiple foreign keys, and the primary key is static. It cannot be changed.
Foreign key can't be changed either, though. Simpler than that. All that is true for the most part, but I need it simpler.
Yeah.
Primary key is the unique identifier for a table, and a foreign key is the unique identifier that connects it to a different table.
Yeah, you're getting closer, right? Primary keys, all the tables are going to have one primary key. It points to one row in that table, right? But a foreign key is just a pointer to a primary key in a different table. That's it. Make sense?
Yeah.
That's what it is. So keep that in mind. It's just a reference to it. And remember that when you query data, you're pulling data from all of these tables, right? You're not actually creating new tables. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to go over a little bit of the Instagram table. I'm going to show you here two of the tables. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's walk through this line by line. Totally cool if you haven't made it this far, but I want you to have at least this, and then you can figure out the last table on your own. Yes? Okay, line by line, I create a table called blog users. So part of the error that I was having earlier is that users is a reserved word, is what I put in the chat. I totally forgot about that. I don't even remember, but that was one of the errors. So keep that in mind. So blog users, right? ID serial primary key to every row, i.e. every blog user, right? Username, varchar 50, unique, not null. That means that, hey, your username and your email have to be what?
Unique and not empty.
Yeah, have to be unique and not empty. Super, super important. If you ever fill out a form and they force you to fill out something, right? That's what's happening, right? It's forcing you not to be able to submit form unless one of those things are empty. Why? Because on the back of their database, they probably have it as not null. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it's blocking you up at the front end, right? But they know their schema on their back end, so they won't let you do it. All righty. So the next one is, this one's a little trickier, right? You create post. Again, it has a primary key as a user ID. Has a user ID that says what?
That is an integer and also not null.
Yeah, but it points to what?
That points to the blog. What? Wait. Foreign key user ID references the blog user's ID.
Yes. Image URL is a varchar, and this is just going to be a varchar is just a string data type, super important. Caption is just text, and depending on what database you're using, this could be really long. It could be a lot of characters, right? It's just going to hold it in one big string. Probably delimited by like \n or something, depending on how it's being stored. The next one is a constraint, and this is one of the things that I want to talk about. The constraint is what exactly?
Is exactly what I've been looking for, because just putting in foreign key references whatever else alone is not working. So that's exactly what I needed, the constraint.
Okay, but what is the constraint though?
It's basically constraining those values that you are it's constraining those values, the foreign key user ID, to reference the blogger user ID by the name FK user, I presume.
Yeah, which is just foreign key user.
Right. And so, and then on delete is cascading throughout that table to make sure it deletes all.
What does that mean?
It's going to go, so whenever you want to delete a user ID, and whenever you want to delete a post, you want to make sure it goes through the post and deletes all user IDs or all posts that are attached to that user ID.
You said it backwards.
Okay.
But yes, if you delete the user,
yeah,
right? All posts, this happens on Reddit too, actually. If someone deletes their handle, it deletes all their posts, right? And if you go, I don't even know if I could find something, right? Reddit. What do you guys like? Let's do Reddit Austin. I don't know if I'll be able to find one. I'm literally doing this on the fly here. Something with a bunch of, there you go. There's a bunch of storms or something. So let's say lightning fast reflex, or this one, oopsie, I fell. This is a handle, right? If oopsie, I fell actually deleted their handle, right? This actually would be like deleted in brackets, right? To tell everyone, hey, if you read a post here, you're not crazy. There was a post here, but the person deleted their account. Therefore, we're going to delete all of their posts throughout the entire site. That's on Cascade. No longer available on their database, right? I see it all the time, but I can't see one right now. But if you search enough or you read Reddit, any of it, you'll see when someone deleted the post, and most of the time, they had deleted their account. So Reddit's actually a really good example of that. All right, so this is what this is saying. Hey, we have a constraint foreign key user on user ID. So it's kind of dependent. It's not kind of, it is dependent on this user, right? Because can a user exist with no posts? Yes. We know some of those people. Instagram, Facebook accounts have no friends, right? So that can exist. Can a post exist without a user? It can't, right? Because it has to be a user that creates a post, right? The other way around doesn't work, right? So it is dependent, right, on user ID, right? Which points to a specific user that created that post, right? And on Cascade, it says, hey, if they delete that foreign key, delete all their posts throughout the entire application. Well, they really mean it throughout the database, but if your application is pulling the data from the database, then it's going to delete it on your application, right? And then someone on your front end is going to have to write some front end code, right, that says, hey, when these values that used to be here in this database are no longer found, what do you want me to show to the user? Right? On Reddit, it's just something like this. This. But that could be anything. If you wanted to not show anything, you could just eliminate it and just pull up the next comment, right? That Reddit has decided that's not good user experience, because if someone read it and they go try to find it and it's no longer there, they're going to start thinking, am I crazy? Did I read that here? Or they're going to continue searching thinking they got the wrong spot. But they don't do that. They say, hey, this is good enough. It shows, hey, there was a post here, right? But it is gone now. The cool thing about Reddit is they'll tell the user this, but if you have like upvotes or downvotes, they won't erase that part. They're like, hey, this post was really loved, or hey, this post was not very loved. But regardless, the case is it's been deleted or the user is gone. Most of the time, they delete their account. There's a lot of burner accounts on Reddit. Make sense? Cool. That's what I just wanted to show you. I'm not going to send you that code or anything until the end of class. Hopefully, you kind of have a good idea, even if you haven't gotten this far. Any questions before we go back to it?
Well, I noticed something really interesting. I actually kind of, so that first challenge you gave us with figuring out that
Oh, the join?
well, not just the join, but running that script and getting it to actually work. So I realized that whenever this is, let me show you real. This is to show you. So I noticed that when we created this database name here, and when I went back and actually changed it to this, and then I changed it here to that and that. I don't know why, but I noticed that when I tried to run it, that would actually make it fail. I don't know why I can't exit this all of a sudden. Let's see here. Get out of this. There we go. So I noticed when I try to run it, it actually made it fail. See here. It's not done yet. So yeah, so it made it fail with that same error that we were seeing before. Can't, no such container runner, right? But when I went in and changed it back, or actually, yeah, I actually had it match what we're building here, here, and here, and then change it back. And this is what I was having trouble with in the previous database too, when I was trying to get it to run. I kept getting that same error. But once I changed those, wait, hold on. Let's see. Once I changed it, I did change it back. It's going to make a liar. Oh, I already got one running here. I forgot to stop it first. I'm sorry. Docker stop, Docker PS, Docker stop. I think it's this one. Sorry. Docker.
You're fine. You're fine.
Should do it. Maybe not. Okay, no, it's gonna make a real liar out of me now.
No worries. What were you trying to prove or to answer?
What that's initially. So initially I kept getting that, when we had this runner and trying to get it to use this script here where it removes it, stops it, and do all that stuff, and try to run it again, that it would actually work as intended. So that's what I was trying to show, but it evidently didn't want to do it that time. But, I don't know why it didn't want to do it that time, but yeah. So that's just that's what I figured out as far as getting it to work the way. See, it's still not running right. I don't know why it's not running right now. So, anyways,
yeah. So this is, I mean, we're not here to teach you bash or anything, but Understanding how Docker works and the fact that when you build an image and you give it a name and you give container a name and you gave database a name, right? Now, if you give them all the same name, that's super confusing, right? But if you started naming the images Instagram image, which you can, and Instagram database, and Instagram container, right? That would make life a lot easier. I think sometimes we fall into like convention, what you see online, and people write it without knowing exactly what the commands are or what the flags do, right? But if you wanted to be really explicit and really understand what exactly is happening, I would label everything like that. Sometimes, right, if you ever create a Python environment, it will be like create, .venv, right? Only the first EVNV is a virtual environment, but they just named the virtual environment VENV, right? But if you didn't know that, you would wondering what's happening, right? You can easily just do virtual underscore environment. That way you know exactly what you're doing. But that's just one of those that just convention that you see a lot of people online just kind of follow what other people type. But understanding what each of those things means really does matter, because you get into this situation right now where you don't really quite understand why something works and why something doesn't.
Yeah. And I just realized why, because I just changed my my SQL and I was trying to insert into post and I got an error in my post here, of course. So that's why it was failing.
Oh, there you go. Was that a typo? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I had changed. I actually went in here and I was working on my next. I got users. I just inserted one user, got that to work. So now I'm working on inserting the post. So I'm figuring that out. But,
there you go.
Yeah.
Good. No worries. But I'll leave you with that homework challenge, right? When you write the bash script, I kind of just gave it to you because just to make things easier, right? But those three things that I mentioned, in reality, no one writes it like that. I'm going to be honest, even in like production level applications, but they really should, right? Because it tells the reader exactly what you're looking at. Oh, this is the image. Okay, this is a container name. Okay, this is my database. Okay, these are my tables. Those are four completely different things. They're not the same. Right. So when you name my image Instagram DB and then my database Instagram DB, and then I have a table called Instagram DB, you're going to really get confused, right? Unless you're paying really careful attention to exactly what the heck you're doing. But unfortunately, the latter right there happens all the time. Yeah, people get lazy. The perfect example is Python VEMD. Like, they just take it, they remember the command on their terminal and they just use it forever. And a lot of people sometimes don't realize, hey, you could change the name of that second thing. That's whatever you want to call your virtual environment,
Yeah, got you.
Any other questions, guys? I'll go ahead and actually post it. I said I wasn't going to, but I'll go ahead and post that so you can build off of those two tables. Okay.
All right.
All right. Keep going.
Well, I got everything. I got all the tables created, and each table has. I managed to create one sample record for each table that I was able to query and run successfully.
Awesome. Can you walk us through your last table? So let's go the one that I don't have.
Yep.
And this is, we went earlier over blog users and posts. Now we're going to look at his comments table that kind of ties everything together here.
All right. Is my text big enough?
Yes, sir.
A little bit here. So. All right. Let me exit out here. Run it back and make sure it's running. So, what did I do? I just already exist.
That's fine. Just
okay.
go over line by line your
okay.
comments table.
So my comments table here. So I got the comment ID. I use Serial. What Serial does is it pretty much acts the same as what an auto increment would do. So it automatically increases the ID or the number for the ID whenever a new record is created.
And if you remember, Cisco, what was it like on Monday, he added that by himself as a separate column. But now he realized, hey, you don't need to do that, right?
Right.
Go ahead, keep going.
And so then, I have the comment ID, the post ID, user ID, not null, integers, not null, comment text, text not null, and the created at timestamp that it creates with those constraints, thanks to you.
Wait, Cisco, and
uh-huh.
everybody, why can't post ID and user ID be not null?
Because it has to have the comment has to be attached to a post that you're commenting on, and B, the user ID is for the user who's actually creating the comment.
Yes, it can't be a ghost comment, right?
Right.
It can never be null. Keep going.
Okay, and so I have the foreign key that's connecting the post ID with the post ID. And then I have another foreign key that's connecting the user who's creating the comment, attaching the user's ID with the user's ID. And so
you're only missing one thing.
What's that?
On delete cascade, right? On both of them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you are absolutely correct. Yeah. So, yeah.
There you go. But what would that do on line 42, Cisco?
That would, so if the comment is deleted, it basically will go through, find the post that the comment belonged to and find the user who created the post, and it will delete that comment. And
Good. I see you have another table of likes there. Can you walk us through that if it's complete?
Yeah, it's complete.
Okay.
So I have a like ID and serial once again, associating the likes with the post that it's going to, when the user likes a post, it's going to connect to that post with the ID. And then the user who's also creating the like or submitting the like, it's going to attach their user ID to that like. And it just creates a timestamp of when that like was created. And kind of the same thing here. You got the foreign key that's connecting to the post and the foreign key that's connecting to the user. And then here, this is I put that a user can only like a post only once. So that's what that's for. It's making sure that if a user, I don't know, when you do a like, you notice that it shows a heart or whatever emoji that it's using. So a lot of the times when you try to like something again, it won't count, right? So it's just going to only count one time. Sometimes you can even add something in there that would actually take away the like if you wanted to, but in this case, you can only like something one time. Does that
Very
make
good.
sense?
Yep. What if you have this table of likes, but what if you could have they're all likes, but they're different kinds of likes. Like if you go on LinkedIn, you can heart something, you can like something, you can clap, you can do a bunch of different things. How would you structure this table if I told you, hey, modify this likes table to include different kinds of likes? How would you do it?
I would create a category of likes, and then I would attach that category ID in here somehow to associate with that particular like, and make, and just kind of connect the two together.
Very good. It'd be a category of like, right? Whether a heart or clappy emoji or a thumbs up, right? Okay. Keep going. If you finish, the next one follows.
Okay. I see where I messed this one up at right now already.
No, that's all right. If follows is complete, walk us through that one.
So follows once again, it's follow ID, auto-populated ID, follower ID, which is the person that the follower wants to follow. That's going to be that, as you can see here, that's going to be their ID. And then the following ID is going to be the person who's following that person. So that's associated with, the other user, right? So then I got the timestamp, and once again, it's, you can only follow a person one time, right? So that's what this unique here is doing. This same thing as this comment or like is doing up here. So can you hear me?
Yeah. Is there a better way to do the unique, like can only follow something once?
Well, that's I can't think of a way right off the top of my head. That's it.
I want to say that's not the optimal way to do that. We're
Okay.
out of time here, but if you had time, I would look into how someone does it, research it.
Hmm.
I'm almost
Hmm.
positive it's not unique, but that was a clever way to do it
Yeah.
initially.
I guess you could do one of those. You kind of showed it earlier where you kind of do like a check. If
Yeah,
you
or it could
kind of,
just be a simple Boolean, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
On or off follows this like or like this like, you know?
Right. Right.
Because
Yep.
that's all the hearts are, right? Like if you like something on Instagram, it lights up the heart, but if you click it again, it unlikes it, right?
Right.
Anyway,
Yep.
very good, Cisco. Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions about Instagram, guys? I'll go ahead and put the three main tables in the questions just so. Mine's a little bit different than Cisco's, but it'll work just the same. Here's all three tables. If you had time to look at it again here, I'm making sure that I have them all. There you go. The only really big thing that Cisco missed, and he had a bunch of extra functionality that we didn't necessarily ask for, but that's good for him. More learning is the delete on cascade, right? That's the one thing he missed on most of the classes, but that's an easy, append at the end. Questions? What's the hardest thing about the schema design? Go ahead, Cisco. I think you were going to
Well,
say something.
well, once you have it, I think once you I noticed I took your advice, make sure you create one table at a time and one record per table before you start creating another table and another record. And so I found that much easier than just trying to create all the tables and then trying to, populate them um, and debug and try to figure out where your table is breaking or your schema is breaking, right? The other thing is when you're creating the records, um, just same thing there, just one record. Make sure you got everything in the record that's supposed to be there and it's not breaking before you move on to creating that next table and that next record. And just keep repeating, ad infinitum. That's
That's actually kind of hard to do, especially for new programmers. They think that they can handle more, and they really can't. It's always one small piece at a time. I'll give you a perfect example of a piece of advice that I give. It's summer, so a bunch of schools are out, including college. So we got a bunch of interns for the summer at AWS. And sometimes I'll have talk to you to some like they call them key Amazonians, people that they do a good job. So they meet with the interns and just give them any advice. So I had a meeting with them, and one of the girls that was meeting with me asked me, "Hey, when you have to give a solution to a customer, to an enterprise customer, like how do you go about deciding that this is the application that you want to suggest for them, or this is the architecture design? Like, how do you even begin to do that?" And you know, my answer was, and this is a really good piece of advice, not just because I gave it, but because it works. I told them you give them the simplest architecture possible that they can maintain.
Yeah.
Why is that? If they're coming to us, that means that they don't have any cloud gurus on their team. So you give them the simplest possible architecture that they can maintain with their team of 2 or 3 devs or 10 devs or 15 devs or 30 devs, right? Not every company is $1 trillion company or $2 trillion company, right? And if they're coming to us, they need our help. So we give them the simplest answer, right? Because once you, and I told you that this happens all the time, you give them the simplest answer And then you realize that they don't have any kind of infrastructure to deploy their application. Okay, so now you're not only migrating or modifying their application, right? You're also building all the infra. And then you realize they don't have any code scanning tools or any observability tools. Now you're building out observability, you're building out code scanning for them, right? You'll run into some people, they'll have an application on some dude's computer and they upload a zip. Those people don't have any of that. You'd be surprised how common that is, right? So always start with the simplest, right? Even at the professional level, that works because you're gonna come to realize that even when you start getting small and you just add a piece by piece, the next thing you know, your application is very unwieldy. But if you build it piece by piece, then you're gonna have a very intimate understanding of what it is, right? And how it works as you build it literally line by line, right? But if you take a bunch of chunks here and try to build it out too fast or too big, too quickly, you're gonna get lost in it, right? And you guys are dealing with incredibly small things right now, right? Eventually, you won't even be able to check out an entire application because it's too big. So you'll end up pulling out just a small piece of it and then testing it virtually. Make sense?
Yep.
Right. They'll have like, this is a good example. They'll have, well, actually, I'm going to end the class here, but then I'll finish saying what I was going to say because I don't want this part recorded.